Hello everyone, Cindy here with Monarch Mom DIY. Thank you so much for joining me today on my channel where I love to bring you the best tips and tools to inspire you to create beautiful home decor on a budget. Today I am here with 3 budget organization and home decor DIYs for you using mostly items found from the Dollar Tree. So with all that being said, let's get crafting. For today's first DIY, we're going to make this set of mini drawers with shelves using 2 of these floating shelves from Dollar Tree, as well as 4 of these square cube drawers from Dollar Tree. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the drawers. I'm going to use wood glue from Dollar Tree to glue the outside boxes together. I'm first going to glue the 2 bottom ones together and then the 2 top ones. Next, I'm going to paint the drawers that go inside those outer cubes there, and I've decided to use the Waverly chalk paint color Maize. Now, you can make this same project and use whatever color scheme you choose. I just decided with the paper that I'm using, I wanted to paint my drawers yellow, and then I'm using black shelves. So I'm kind of going with a yellow and black theme. Now, you don't need to paint the front because I'm going to put some scrapbook paper there. If you don't want to use scrapbook paper, of course, you could just paint the entire drawer. You also can notice that I'm putting the die cut hole at the back of the drawer. So I'm going to paint all 4 of my drawers. Now to cover up that die cut hole, I'm going to cut 2 pieces of giant craft stick from Walmart, and I'm just measuring them, how tall they need to be to cover that back side of the drawer. So I'll need a total of 8 small pieces. 2 will go in each box. And then I'm just going to use some wood glue and glue those there into the back of each drawer. Now that our pairs of outside boxes are dry, now I'm going to use wood glue again and glue those 2 pairs together so that they sit 4 in a square. This is the paper I decided to use for the front of my drawers. This is a 6 by 6 inch square piece. And since the drawers are 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, I only need 1 sheet of paper to cut my 4 squares for the fronts of my drawers. So you can see I'm using this floral paper. It's got yellow in it. It also has black, and I thought it would go really well with the yellow drawers and black shelves. So now I'm just going to take a little bit of Mod Podge and brush that on the front of each of the drawers, and then spritz a little bit of water on our scrapbook paper square and Mod Podge that down to the front of our drawer. I am spritzing water because this is a thinner paper. It's not a thicker cardstock. So you'll want to spritz the back, press it down onto the Mod Podge, and kind of rub it just a little bit, not too much. You don't want to make a hole to smooth out any possible air bubbles. I must have forgotten to paint the bottom of each drawer, but I like to make everything look nice and finished. So I painted all the outsides, and I will say that I did not paint the inside of the drawers at all. I just went a little bit around the top edge of each drawer. Then once my giant craft sticks were glued in place, I did take my brush and just kind of paint what you would be able to see through the die cut shape. Once the 4 outside boxes were glued together and the glue was dry, I did take some wood filler because I wanted to kind of fill in those cracks that were visible on the front. So just taking a little bit at a time on my finger, I just smoothed it on those horizontal and vertical lines where the 4 boxes were glued together, and then just let that dry completely. Coming back to the drawers now with our paper Mod Podged on, I did take my little sander and go around the edges to make sure they were nice and smooth. And then we will do some Mod Podge over the top of the scrapbook paper as well. Once that wood filler was dry, I took my sander and just sanded it so it was nice and smooth and flush with the top of the wood boxes. And then we're going to paint the sides and the top edge and the back of these 4 boxes with our yellow chalk paint as well. Now that the Mod Podge on our drawers is dry, I'm going to take some E6000 and I'm going to glue on 4 of these little drawer pulls. You can get these from Amazon, from Temu, or from Hobby Lobby. So I wanted to fill in this little indent on the floating shelf. I'm using the bottoms of the shelves to go on the bottom and the top of our set of drawers. So taking 2 of these wood slats is the perfect thickness, but I just needed to cut them down a little bit in the length with my miter saw. Now you're going to see me make 1 pair of these. I'm actually going to make 2. And I'm just going to cut like 1 inch off so that they fit snugly in that little recessed part of the bottom of the shelf. Once I have those cut, I'm just using some wood glue and I'm going to glue the 2 of them together, holding them with the clamps. And then, like I said, I'm going to make 2 sets of these, 1 for each of my floating shelves. Once those pairs of wood planks were dry, I'm using a combination of E6000 and hot glue to glue the pair of planks into this little recessed area, which is actually on the bottom of the shelf. If you were going to hang this on a wall, this is the bottom, but I'm using this set as the stand on the bottom of the drawers, and then this other floating shelf is going to be a little shelf on top of our mini set of drawers. And now that those are dry, I'm going to use E6000 and hot glue again to glue one of the floating shelves to the bottom of our set of drawers and one of them to the top. And here's the finished project. Like I said, you could do this project with the white floating shelves instead and in any color scheme you choose. If you're stopping by my channel for the first time today, welcome. I'm so glad that you found me. I hope you like what you see and you'll consider sticking around by hitting that subscribe button. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support of my channel. And I have been hearing from some people that YouTube is not sending out notifications when I go live, so be sure to click that bell. Make sure your notifications are set to all, so YouTube should let you know each time I upload a new video or go live here on my channel. For DIY number 2, I'm going to show you how to make a cute wood lantern using 2 of these house-shaped chalkboards from Dollar Tree, as well as some tumbling tower blocks and some wood glue and spray paint. So the first thing I'm doing is I am making rows of 3 tumbling tower blocks. This will depend on what size chalkboard or house shape you're using, but I believe I ended up needing 7 rows of 3 to be the width of the house. So I'm going to do 7 sets of 3 for the bottom. Then I'm going to do an extra 2 for the ends. You'll see here what I mean in just a minute. Once the wood glue was dry, I did take my little sander and just sand all 4 sides of each stick of tumbling tower blocks. This just smooths them out, gets rid of any excess glue that may have seeped through the edges. So here I'm taking these 7 sticks now. I'm going to glue them on the long side and glue them together in a rectangle, like I said, of 7 of these sticks that are 3 blocks long. Now that I have my 7 rows glued together, I'm going to take my 8th one and I'm putting glue on the lower part of the side. It's a little hard to see here, but I have this one on the side, so it's sticking up a little bit. And there you can see the other one I'm going to put, the 9th one, just putting some glue along the bottom here and then gluing it on its side right up against the other 7. Now coming to our chalkboards, you're going to very carefully find where you can break this chalkboard apart, or at least bend it apart to get the chalkboard out. And then just use wood glue to glue any pieces that came apart back together. And you're going to do this for 2 of your house-shaped chalkboards. Once your house shapes are held together, you're going to put a bead of wood glue along the bottom edge, and then you're going to glue this to one of the sides of the base there that you've made. So you can see that the two side pieces that are sticking a little taller, those line up pretty well with the side edges of the house. So put some wood glue there and kind of hold it in place until it's pretty secure. You might need to add more if your tumbling tower block edge is a little uneven. But we're going to put one of these house shapes on either side of our base. The last thing we're going to do to build the shape of our lantern is I'm taking my last 3 sticks of 3 blocks. So we've needed a total of 12 now, 9 for the base and then 3 here. We're going to glue 1 on this side of our little lantern. We'll put another one on the opposite side, and then we'll do the third one connecting the 2 peaks of the houses. Once that was all dried and held together, I did take it out to the garage and spray paint it with black spray paint. And I love how simple this is. You could dress it up for any holiday or season. For a complete list of all the tools and supplies used in today's projects, please open up the description box below the title of this video. Usually you have to click a down arrow or tap the word more. There you will find a link to my Amazon storefront, my Magnolia Design Co. website, and a list for each project of the tools and supplies that I used. For DIY number 3, we're going to make a completely customizable home office command center using one of these rectangular boards from Dollar Tree Plus, a couple of the wood trays, a wood crate, and one of the hooks. So this is found at Dollar Tree Plus. It's $3. It's 11 by 14. If you don't have Dollar Tree Plus, you could definitely find a wood rectangular frame like this at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. Now, I decided that I was going to use green as the main colors for this. So I am painting the frame on the front and also on the inside and the outside. I didn't paint the back because this would be up against a wall most likely, but I'm using Waverly chalk paint in the color Fern, and you'll see why I chose that color in just a minute. So this adhesive wallpaper sheet was called Eucalyptus, and I only found 2 at my Dollar Tree this week. It was the first time I'd seen this design, and I absolutely loved it. So you can see this is why I chose Fern for the paint color for this project. So I measured the inside of the frame. I believe it's like 9.5 by 12.5, somewhere around there. So I'm trimming down this sheet, and then once we have it fit to the inside of our frame, we'll go ahead and peel off the backing and stick that down to the inside of our wood frame. The next thing I'm going to do is take 2 of these rectangular trays from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to make like little stacked paper trays, I think they're called. So we're going to actually remove one of the long sides from each of these crates. I did end up needing to use a kind of a razor blade, like a straight edge, to cut down between that long piece in front and one of the side pieces. But once I had kind of wedged that down there a little bit, I was able to pop off 2 of the long sides, one from each of the trays. Once I have both of the little paper trays all smoothed out with my little sander, I'm going to take my Fern Waverly chalk paint and paint these as well, all on the insides and the outsides. Next, I took one of those long pieces that I took off the side of a tray, and I'm trimming it down to fit inside one of the small wood crates from Dollar Tree. I sanded the edge there that I had cut a little bit, and I'm going to cut this down, like I said, to fit inside this crate. I want to make it kind of a divided little pencil cup type of thing that could hold stamps or paper clips or extra change, spare change, however you decide you want to use it. So next we're going to use that fern paint again, and we're going to paint the outside and inside of our wood crate. We're also going to paint that little extra piece that we cut to glue in the center. And once those were dry, we took some wood glue and put it on the two short ends and the bottom side of that piece of wood. And we're going to set this down inside the crate to, like I say, divide it into 2 equal parts. I decided I wanted to add another strip of that adhesive wallpaper to the center of the crate. So I'm just going to cut this strip, and I did sand down the crate a little bit where this was going to go just to make it a little smoother. And I'm just going to attach this to the center and wrap it around. Next, I'm going to Mod Podge the outside of the crate so that that wallpaper stays down. I will also Mod Podge the inside of the crate as well as the 2 paper trays, just to make sure that they're a little smoother, and in case they get wet or whatnot, it'll be easy to clean up. And I also did Mod Podge around the frame of the background sign that we're going to attach the trays and the crate to. Once all our Mod Podge was dry, I'm going to take some wood glue and going around the top edge of my bottom tray, I'm actually going to put some dots of wood glue and I'm going to come back in with some hot glue to stack our two trays together to make kind of a mini little paper sorter stack. So here's where I start customizing what I put on my command center. I wanted to add a little junior legal pad, so I'm cutting more of the one single piece of wallpaper that I had left. I'm measuring it 5 inches across that strip, and I'm just going to cover up that branded strip of our paper pad just to make it blend in a little bit more with our project. And I'm just smoothing it down as I stick it down on the front, the top, and the back there. Now you could attach this different ways. I decided to use a strip of Velcro and I'm sticking it to the back of the notepad, and then I'm going to stick it to the back of our command center. So just removing the adhesive strip, and I'm going to set this up in the top left corner. So I'm going to press that down really well so our Velcro sticks, and then you can remove the notepad with the Velcro on and then just stick it down a little bit lighter. This was some pretty strong Velcro. Now our stacked trays, I'm going to take again some E6000 and then hot glue. You can see I'm doing it on the bottom edge of the trays and then on that right side. And we're going to glue this right to the bottom and right edges of our frame. And because we have these flat on the table and we're gluing straight flat edge to flat edge, this is going to allow our command center to stand up on its own. Then we're going to do the same thing with our small divided crate, a little bit of E6000 and then hot glue in between those dots. And we're going to glue the crate to the bottom left corner of the rectangular sign, and this is going to act kind of as our foot or our bottom to keep this nice and flat. So with our crate and our trays flush against the table, this is going to allow our command center to stand up straight on its own. Another thing you might want to add to your command center is a small calendar. These are printables that I purchased from Etsy. I just printed a couple months to show you. You can buy a mini calendar. Sometimes you get free calendars in the mail that have a mini calendar on a magnet. So I'm just trimming these so that they will fit in the corner of our command center. I'm just going to attach them lightly with some scrapbooking adhesive. So you can see here, I'm just going to put one strip of it and just stick these up here in the top corner. Another thing you can get at Dollar Tree are these adhesive hooks. So I took the adhesive covering off the back and then I decided to cut off the little flap that you can use to pull it and remove it. I'm not putting this on a wall and I'm not going to want to remove it. So I'm just adding this little hook right in the middle of our command center. It's a perfect little place to hang a spare set of keys. And I love this. I love the little letter tray there on the side in a mini. I like to save my receipts for business purposes, and I just love this little command center. Thanks again so much for joining me today. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of today's projects, which one was your favorite, and we'll see you next time. Take care.